Gamble hadn't kept count of how many men he had killed, but they all had it coming, he reckoned, one way or another. Among the last was an opium peddler by the name of Lester Burns in Sumner County, Kansas. The killing had earned Gamble a price on his head from the district court there, and he'd been dogged from the state line by a quartet of bounty-hunting German cousins. For 6 weeks they'd chased him south along Hell's Fringe, the jagged border between the Indian nations and Oklahoma Territory, and an episodic gun battle that zigzagged across the winter landscape. Along Cottonwood Creek in Logan County, Oklahoma Territory, within sight of the wooden Santa Fe trestle, they had shot Gamble's chestnut mare out from under him. The rifle slug had struck the horse behind the shoulder, and the horse had fallen hard, unable to roll back up. Gamble had extricated himself from saddle and stirrups, losing a spur in the process, and after seeing the bloody froth spewing from the animal's muzzle, had drawn the Manhattan, pressed the barrel between her eyes, and fired. Then he had sought refuge in a cornfield that was hard against the creek, but the cousins methodically rode down the stalks and drove him out the far side. Gamble had burst from the field and made for the creek, ducking a fusillade from the murderous cousins. The Santa Fe Railway ran along the creek, and he dashed over the tracks and then jumped over the edge of the creek bank and tumbled down the red clay bank. As he scrambled for the cover of the trunk of a fallen walnut tree, he shot blind twice behind him. This was answered with a shot that passed through his right thigh and continued on to skip across the surface of the creek beyond. Gamble scarcely felt it, thinking the bullet had simply puckered the fabric of his trousers. He attempted to vault over the trunk, but caught his remaining spur on a dead branch and hung for a moment, suspended like a target in a shooting gallery, half his body exposed. Another shot zinged past, then another thudded dully on the opposite side of the trunk. Then the strap on the spur broke, and Gamble fell to the moist clay. He spun around and pressed his back against the walnut trunk, the Manhattan held tightly in his left hand, trying to think of a next move that wouldn't result in the cousins shooting him to death where he lay. "Hey, Dutch!" Gamble shouted. There was no answer, but he could hear the cousins up on top of the bank, speaking softly to each other in German, trying no doubt to find some path down the bank that wouldn't expose them to fire. "What do you want?" This with a touch of an accent. "To talk." "We are talking. Have you many blaue Bohnen left?" "Speak English." "Bullets," the man said. "These are called blue beans in German, because they look like little lead beans stuffed into the wheel of your gun, no?" "Only if you're looking down the wrong end." "You must be running low on these deadly beans," Jaeger said. "We have traded shots many times since leaving Kansas, and there are 4 of us, and only 1 of you." "Odds sound about right." "You are a fool, Jacob Gamble." "What say we avoid the bloodletting and come up with an arrangement that will satisfy everybody?" There was dark laughter from above. "And what would such an arrangement be, Herr Gamble?" "You could let me go." "Why should we do that?" "Because if you do, I'll tell you where there's a fortune in buried gold. It's one hell of a lot more money than whatever reward is being offered for my hide, and if you kill me, you'll never find it." There was a long pause. Gamble flicked open the loading gate of the Manhattan and turned the cylinder. He had only 3 rounds left. "You're lying." "Maybe, Dutch. There are 9 chances out of 10 that I'm making up a whopper just to save my skin. But are you willing to throw away the not inconsiderable chance that I'm telling the truth? Think about what you could do with a strong box filled with gold. And here's the beauty part. It cost you nothing to find out, except to hold off on killing me." There was more whispering in German, then things fell silent.